This is the Page Publishing Book Club. How you doing? I'm your host, Alice Stockton Rossini. You know, we talk on this show a lot about writing what you know. And, you know, sometimes life deals us experiences that other people just aren't likely to have. Felicia Harris is one of those people. Her brother was accused of a crime he did not commit, and her family spent a lifetime trying to clear his name. Joanne Spencer was on a jury when Felicia's brother Tyrone went on trial in Seattle in the late 80s, early 90s. He was accused in a series of attacks on women in his neighborhood. He was a 19-year-old basketball star, and he did not match any of the descriptions of the attacker except for the fact he was African American. Spencer wrote a book entitled The Seventh Victim about what it was like being on that jury, knowing an innocent man was on trial. She has since suffered some serious health problems, but Felicia made sure her book got published and it got the attention it deserved, but it has not been easy. Felicia, what happened to your brother?
My brother, he was wrongly convicted, and took us a long time to get him out of jail. We went through so many trials to get him out. We had people supporting us. We had church members supporting us. Actually, Oprah wanted to interview us at the time, but we couldn't get an interview with her because the case was still going. We had 60 Minutes who wanted to interview us, but it's just that we couldn't get an interview with anyone because at the time the case was still going and we couldn't talk to anyone.
So all these people that could have actually helped you by bringing the case to light, you couldn't talk to them?
Yes, because it would have messed up the case for him.
So assaults were happening, and they were happening in the area of where you lived?
Yes,
And Tyrone, he gets accused of the crime.
Right. Well, they were picking up a lot of guys in the neighborhood at the time. And my brother was one of them that they picked up that one of the ladies thought it was him. And these were like several ladies saying, oh, maybe it's this person, maybe it's that person. So all of a sudden they picked my brother up and started putting stuff together to make it seem like it was him when he was locked up.
Didn't he have an alibi?
Yeah, we did explain to them where he was, but it didn't. They didn't believe us. That's the reason why we're going through the case, trying to explain to them where he was. He played basketball, and so we, you know, at the time, it was so many people getting picked up in the neighborhood that we were living in, and that's the reason why it's called The Seventh Victim, is because he was the seventh person that they picked up on.
And he was the one they decided.
They tried to plant stuff on him, like, you know, the mug shot of the guy who did it. They tried to make my brother out like the mug shot. You know, they were trying to they were messing with trying to put a mole. Now the guy, he didn't have a mole, but my brother had a mole near his lip. So they were trying to put it out like, oh, okay, maybe the guy had a mole or something. You know, they were trying to do things with the evidence to make it seem like it was my brother, because they couldn't figure out who it was at the time in the neighborhood that was doing the crime.
Is your brother okay now?
Yes.
Did he manage to have a decent
Yes.
life?
Yes, he did.
But then after all this, you had problems with the book and trying to get it published.
Oh, well, the book's been out. We actually changed publishing companies. So the other publishing company that we were going through, we wasn't seeing the right amount of royalty we were supposed to be getting. They got sued a while back for ripping people off. And so that's why we switched to a different publishing company, which was you guys. It's still happening. And that's why we wanted to actually put it out there, because I know other people are going through the same thing.
I know. I don't think people realize this kind of thing still happens more often than you might think. I'm really glad that you were able to get this thing published through Page, and maybe you can raise some awareness. Weight loss has been a lifelong battle for Johnny Mae Williams. She dieted, underwent lap band surgery. Nothing worked until she found help in a place you might not expect. The name of her book is Prayer, Faith, and Weight Loss. Abide in God, ask and believe. Johnny Mae, how much weight have you lost?
Right now I'm at 75 pounds lost.
How much did you weigh?
229.
200. How tall are you?
I'm 5'7".
Have you been heavy your whole life?
Yes, ma'am. I've been heavy my whole life. Actually, at one time I weighed 264 pounds. That was my highest weight. and I had the bypass surgery, the stomach bypass surgery,
Hmm.
and I lost 126 pounds, and that was in '94. From '94 to '95, I lost 126 pounds, but I gained all of it back except 34 pounds.
How,
Making a long story short, that didn't work for me.
how is it possible to put the weight back on after you undergo that kind of surgery?
Now that I gained most of the weight back, I found out that that is definitely not the right way to go. Now, I say that speaking on my experience. And the doctor told me that it's possible for the weight to come back. It's not a magical surgery. What happened, I ended up stretching my stomach. So, in all reality, my stomach went back to the same size as before I even had the surgery. And I learned the surgery actually really only make you eat in portions. If your stomach is a certain size, you can only eat a certain amount for a certain amount of time. So I learned that and I thought about it and used my common sense. If I'm only eating in portions and eating a certain amount at a certain time, I can do that. I mean, I could have done it without the surgery. So I learned that all I really had to do was believe God for his word. The word of God tells us that we can ask God for what we want in Jesus' name and that he will do it. So I learned to use prayer and faith to lead toward my weight loss. When I say prayer, I would ask God when times got hard for me, when it was hard for me to resist certain foods. I would pray without ceasing. And I can tell you, prayer changes things. It really does. It changes things. And I would pray, 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 and pray and pray without ceasing and ask God to help me resist certain foods and help me make it through this day and, help me to just remember his word and lean and depend on what his word says. And I'm just a living witness that prayer definitely changes things. And I would have to have the faith that what I was asking God for in this weight loss effort, that he would abide in his word. And also, I would have to believe that all things are possible with God.
Let me just back up a second. Did you start having health problems?
I went to my doctor and just a routine visit, and the doctor told me that I had high blood pressure, and also I was a borderline diabetic.
Okay.
Yes, yes, but I'd already started losing weight, and the doctor even complimented me on that. He told me it was a good thing that I'd already started losing weight because had I not started losing weight, I probably would have been a full blown diabetic
Okay.
rather than a borderline diabetic. So it was really good that I had already started losing weight when I got that doctor report. So that was definitely inspiration for me as far as writing this book. And also, I have two little sons. They're 9 and 7. They was my greatest inspiration for writing this book. We, my husband and I, we had to change some things. We had to change our eating habits and increase our exercise regimen and in order to care for these boys. So my boy was my main inspiration for losing this weight and getting healthy so that I could have a longer life with my baby.
Well, that's all the inspiration you need right there. Thank you so much, Johnny May. How did the United States become the biggest superpower on the planet? James Dunn started thinking about that and then put his degrees in journalism and military history to work and wrote The United States of Empire, the passing of the mantle from the United Kingdom to the United States. James, you say you used World War I as a starting point.
Because the United States was not a world empire before World War One. Great Britain had the largest empire and the strongest navy. The sun never set on the empire. France had a smaller one. Germany wanted in on the club, but America was not a major player at the turn of the 19th century. And also another thing that maybe wanted to look into it was, why were we attacked on 9/11? And that gets right back into the fact that we are the empire. If 9/11 had happened in 1901 instead of 2001, it would have been Buckingham Palace that was targeted. But we have taken over the position that Great Britain held 100 years ago. And it was because of the United States being the deciding factor in both World Wars I and II. And the why of it is I've always been a history buff. I definitely missed my calling. I wound up working this job I'm working now instead of, being a historian or something like that. That's my soul fulfilling work. Do we want to be the empire of the world?
Do you think we should be the empire of the world?
In short, no.
No.
We need to pull back from the responsibilities. But, of course, that can't be done quickly. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to republish it. I first published this in 2008 because I think the United States needs to rethink what do we want our responsibilities to be. Should we have troops in Afghanistan and Iraq? We are the balance of power in Europe. Well, why should we go to die to protect Europe? That's a real question. It really has to be asked, and I'm glad that Donald Trump has brought this issue to light.
Okay.
We have to rethink our position in NATO. Why are we at the vanguard of protecting Europe? It should be Germany. It should be Austria. It should be the Czechoslovaks. It should be Poland, Polish troops that are doing the protecting. Yeah.
You want to raise the issues, and you want people to think long and hard about our role in the world stage.
Exactly.
Thank you, James. And with that, we are going to take a very short break. Very, very short. We have so much more coming up. Stay with us. This is the Page Publishing Book Club.
Have you written a book and want to get it published? Then now's the time to call Page Publishing at 800-204-6099 and do it immediately. You see, they're looking for authors of all types of books. And unlike most publishers, Page Publishing will take the time to review most of the books submitted to them. And they'll even give you their feedback. And if they like what they read, Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, the Apple iTunes Store, and other outlets. They'll handle everything: copyright protection, printing, cover art, publicity, and editing. So if you've written a novel, a children's book, a cookbook, inspirational work, a book of poetry, or biography, and want to get it published, then you need to call Page Publishing and do it immediately. Call 800-204-6099 now for your free author submission kit. Your road to fame and fortune could very well start with this simple phone call. For your free author submission kit, call Page Publishing at 800-204-6099.
Welcome back to the Page Publishing Book Club. I'm your host, Alice Stockton Rossini. Rob Barrett's my engineer. Thanks for stopping by. As if anyone needed another reason to stay away from drugs, our next author, Jimmy Davis, gives us a few more in his book entitled Marine from Oceanside. Jimmy.
Okay, it's about drugs, gangsters, violence, and carnage down in Miami. In other words, it exemplifies what gangsters do down there on the dope track. Although fiction, it is still sort of real, This was an ardent love affair between two people and at the high school level. And so because of his infidelity, they broke the relationship off. He joined the Marine Corps. She went to college at the University of Miami, okay? But during the course of her, I think it was a sophomore year, what she had done was met Eladio Gomez. He was a dope dealer, okay? And in spite of people telling her to leave him alone, that she still, continued to see him, He had a damn good gift of gab, fine clothes. But in the end, she found out that he was just being ostentatious, He was just covering up his true side, his true colors. So anyway, he got killed. And what she had to do essentially was call upon Kimbrough, which is the Marine, to help her out, help her people out of the drug cartel after Eladio had gotten killed. So they had shootouts, and there's a lot of carnage and bloodshed and stuff like this. But in the end, it came out all right. Everything was fine. They became victorious. She did. Okay, it takes the reader into the lives of the dope dealer. Okay, the carnage, it's a ramification of, In other words, like carnage, bloodshed, and all. I want them to see that it's no good. Drugs are no good. Say no,
Yes,
just let them see what it's like. Mm-hmm. But what can happen when you get it mixed up in the drug world? So that's essential to what I was trying to impart.
And since you have some experience, you feel like you come from a place where you can give people information and knowledge that they wouldn't get anywhere else?
Absolutely. Believe me, Miami will give you a good experience. That's where I grew up at, Overtown. I think it's a story that's screaming to be told. It was screaming to be told, so I told it, You know,
How long ago did this happen?
way back, about 2007, 2008, like that. Okay.
Okay.
There was a reflection of what happened then. So I think it's pretty good. I think that like people will enjoy reading it. You know, they
Right.
will.
Is there a sequel to this book?
I think it will be. I think I will write a sequel to it. I'll do the San Francisco chapter, the San Francisco episode after this one. Rest and reflect and write or whatever you do, you know.
And now you're reflecting and you're sharing your experiences with the world.
Exactly. Absolutely.
All right, Jimmy, thanks. John Deere is an artist, and he's done his share of art shows, but thought another way to get his work out to the masses would be to create a coloring book. It's called Unique Abstraction. So how did you come up with such a unique idea?
I lived in Mattydale, New York last year because it was my first time getting out of the stepmom's house and with my family and living our normal lives as a family for once. And I ended up making some blank pieces that I could color in. I colored them in, and then I just told myself, hey, wow, this is a coloring book, and I'm going to try and get it published, you know?
Is it a coloring book for a certain age group or for all age groups?
It's a pretty basic coloring book. It's a bunch of shapes and forms that don't necessarily have to be anything, you know, just if you like to color in shapes and stuff and fill in things. And so I would say, yes, it is fit for all ages. I myself personally, I mean, you know, when I was coloring in these blank pieces, I really enjoyed doing it. And I thought, hey, wow, maybe somebody would enjoy it too. And, you know, I need to get my artwork out there. I need to be seen because I'm an artist, you know, and I want to inspire a lot of people. And I also want to inspire my children and everybody around me to do what they believe in, you know?
Yeah, go for the dream, man.
Yes.
I hear you. Are they shapes? What do they look like?
Line drawing mixed with vibrational form. There's some circles in there. There's partial squares in there. You know, it's an equal balance of line drawing and vibration. I just try to make everything look in equal and balance as I could.
All right. What kind of artwork do you do?
You know, I've been in the business of doing abstract pieces, and that's why I call it unique abstractions, because each piece is a little. It's like an abstract of sorts, and I'm into abstract art, so that's why I called it unique abstractions. I do abstract paintings. I do abstract drawings. Initially, when I first started doing artwork, I grew up in a private school doing pictures of figure drawings and things I could see with my eyes. But more or less right now, I'm into the abstract, non actual, drawing actual things, but things that you can't see or cannot, that are not things I like to do. And I like to do as well portraits. I draw faces, and that's what I first started doing, was faces and getting to know the face really good.
Nice. All right.
So I guess you could say I'm into doing colored pencils, acrylic paints, markers, stain markers, pencils in general to do the faces. I like to do shading and contours, and I like I also like Georgia O'Keeffe style, floral design. What I do right now, I do my abstract, unique abstractions to do for coloring books. I'm working on volume 2. I'm working on my style for volume 2. I do portraits of people that I haven't seen. I just do random faces. Hopefully that I'll meet that person one day that I drew that I don't know. That's actually about all I'm doing is coloring my unique abstractions for volume 2 and starting on the second book.
Okay.
And I do portraits of faces of people that I haven't seen.
Okay. So you got another coloring book coming out after this one.
Yes. I'm going to do a unique abstractions volume 2.
Very creative, John. Very creative idea. I mean, who doesn't like to color? Michael Zito is here to talk about a book written by D.U. Boniface. It's entitled Idols at Sunday Creek. Welcome, Michael. Let me ask you, explain your connection to the author.
It's a dad of a friend of mine. He passed away before he had the chance to publish the book. But the book was already complete.
Okay, so what's it about?
It's about love. It's about hope. It's about the person. He was an agent, FBI agent,
Okay.
And he was trying to escape, and he found himself somewhere in West African village called Sangare. And then he started a little business over there, and he was doing pretty well. And he got a partner who was Lady Jane, and the business fell, and he went through the accident. He was moving. It was kind of the island where they were living. The village was called Sangari in West Africa.
This guy was an FBI agent. He went to West Africa.
Yes.
He wound up opening a business with a woman he fell in love with.
It's a little bit sad because he passed. His boat collapsed, and that boat hit the tree, and then hit her. And that was so unfortunate because before the accident happened, he was already negotiating to marry his partner, Cecilia, that they were in business, that he was in business with. But at the same time, she was meeting with someone else too. So that's how his adventure ended. He couldn't make it. He couldn't marry the woman that he fell in love at Sunday Creek when he got there. His name was Mark Cormick. The message is like I said, hope and the strength that we can start a new life, and the drive that makes people move ahead and know that there is always something that they can do better in their life when they think that it's never been over when you decide not to.
So just when you think you can't go on,
yeah,
there's something that propels you forward.
Yeah.
All right, Michael, good enough. Kathy Gotts was inspired by what she calls the divine source to write her book after she completed A Course in Miracles. It teaches that the way to love and inner peace is through forgiveness. She experienced the dark night of the soul on her road to higher consciousness, and she's here to tell us about her book entitled Fake It, It Will Come. Kathy.
It's mostly my journey through forgiveness and spirituality. I read The Course in Miracles, and this gave me the courage to go out and offer up my struggling relationships. And then I went through the dark night of the soul in trials and adversities.
What is that?
It's a purging and a cleansing of people that you struggled with. If you are having a hard time with any kind of relationship, that this possibly could help you heal.
What is the purging exactly? What is it? What was your experience?
You know, I had good and bad. I had joy in it, and I had a lot of trials in it. And it was quite a journey beyond the normal, what was happening to me. And through this trials, I got profound wisdom and understanding and empathy and compassion for others. And through it, I could see the bigger picture with clarity. It was difficult. It was very difficult. And I had really strange, not normal things happen to me during it, both good and bad.
Like what? Can you tell me one thing?
Well, the good part, I saw this very large statue in the sky. It was outlined in black. It had definition. It had two black parallel lines going down the middle, and the colors were red, yellow, and blue. And I went out for a sunrise, and I knew when I turned my back that it would be gone, and it was gone. A bad thing that I would say happened to me is my stomach was taken away. I had a lot of pain in my stomach, and the part that was taken away, I was totally numb, and the part that was taken away, there was pressure in that cavity. There was pressure, and I do not know what happened to me. That's just what it felt like.
You say fake it will come. What do you mean by that?
Fake it till you make it. This lady that I visit in senior homes, she would flail her arms and she would yell profanity. And she went into the bathroom, and I was in her room, and I didn't know her name, and I just said, she was just washing her hands with the door open, and I said, that lady in the bathroom is wonderful and very loving. And that's how she came out when this lady wasn't loving, but yet I said it, and so you just fake it till you make it.
Okay, so if you believe that someone who isn't loving, who isn't good, really is good, and you treat them that way, they will become good. Oh, I want to believe that. Don't you, Rob? I would really love to believe that. I don't know. It has been said, though, that even the most evil people on the planet have something good about them. We just got to find it. And we got to find our way out of here, Rob, Mr. Barrett. That is our show for tonight. You can keep coming back, or you can download this show or any of the other shows at 710WOR.iHeart.com and listen all you want till your heart's content. Have a party. Whatever. Otherwise, we will be back next week. Same time, same place, 710 WOR for another edition of the Page Publishing Book Club. Have a great weekend.